Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to tell you about the time that I got into an ATV accident, and the reason I want to talk about it is probably because it's one of the more traumatic things that's ever happened in my life. But I mean, it was all fun and games up until that point, but it's pretty scary, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell it to you guys. So let me just start out by saying I wasn't the one that was driving this ATV, but I do not blame the person that was driving the ATV. We were just riding along, and thank God, we were both wearing our helmets, just because we were thinking, oh, we're not gonna go on that far of a ride, and it's not gonna be a big deal, so maybe we can just ditch our helmets. It's no big deal. But we didn't, and I'm so thankful, because had I ditched my helmet, I would have died, and that's a fact, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That it was a very big realization for me, so I do encourage you to wear your dorky looking helmets. I don't care how cool you think you are if you don't wear them, or, oh, whatever, it's not going to happen to me. It will, and it can. So wear a helmet. First lesson. So it just started. We were like, let's go, have fun, do a quick ride, let's do it. So we were going down these trails, and they're not like crazy trails. They're not like full of rocks and up mountains and things like that. It's just pretty much a straightforward, flat, leveled, a little bit curvy trail, and everything was going good up to this point. The reason we really wanted to go is because we wanted to go mudding, because that's what you do when you live where I do. Right after it rains a lot, all the trails are just super muddy, so you go to kick up some mud. It's fun. It's fun to get a little bit dirty like that. And so we were like splashing through these puddles, having a good time. And we were coming up near the end of the trail, the place that you go to basically just turn around, or to sit, stop, whatever you're gonna do, or to go on to the next trail, which is a couple miles away. So we were just gonna turn around, because we weren't going on like a long ride or anything. We just wanted to go out there and have a little bit of fun before whatever else we were gonna go do. It was probably like dinner or something, I think we had to get back to, but we wanted to go and get dirty first. So we were coming up near the end of this trail, and let me just say that when things like this happen, they do happen so quickly, you can't even fathom what's happening until it's happened. So what happened was, we were coming up near the end of this trail, and I don't think the person that was driving, I don't think they realized how rapidly it was coming and how fast we were going. It just didn't register right away. And then they were like, oh wait, here's the curve. This is the curve that goes out to the opening. So it's like, you gotta slow way down, because this is probably the sharpest corner on this whole entire trail. It just goes hard right to the opening. One big round curve, and then you're in the clear. So I just think she might have thought we were at a different place on the trail. I mean, it's not something we do every single day, but it's a trail we're kind of familiar with. So I just don't think she realized what place we were at, or how sharp this turn was. But we got up there, and we both realized. I feel like I might have realized it a little bit before she did, so that's why we've gotten to this accident. But I did see it coming. I'm like, oh no. My heart kind of stopped. I saw this coming, and I'm like, please don't, please don't. This is one of my biggest fears. This is, why I don't go ATVing every single day, because it's the reality is that those things can happen. You can get into accidents, and your life can end pretty quickly. But it's still fun. So just the bottom line is you have to be safe. But my fear is just, I'm gonna get in an accident. We're gonna get in an accident. We might die. And I really need to chill, but in this case, I was kind of right. We were coming up in this corner. She wasn't slowing down, and I'm just like, oh no, oh no. I was starting to get all antsy, but what do you say? The wind's blowing in your face. You can't even hear anything when you're trying to talk to each other. You're saying, what? So what was the point of me yelling at her and just breaking her concentration from driving? The best thing I could do was just sit and brace myself for what was about to happen. And what was about to happen was we were coming up on the corner, and there was a pile where it curves, but right in the front of us basically was a big pile of rock, like rubble, like cement, some type of debris that normally isn't even there, but it was. I'm not sure what it was from, but it was basically just a bunch of chunks of rocks and cement and stuff like that, and I don't know where it came from or why it was there, but there it was. And so since the turn goes left, and that pile of rock was right in front of us, or goes right, and that pile of rock was right in front of us, and we would have turned, we would have rolled into the rock, and we definitely would have died. And I think that she knew that, so she turned left instead. And what was left of us, for about 10 feet or so, it was grassy green, really. It was a divot down into the ground, like a little bitty crater, little ditch, if you will. And it had just rained. It was all swampy, kind of like a bunch of grass soaked with water. There were puddles in there, and up on the other side of that were some trees and some forestry. So she turned left into this ditch instead of into these rocks, which is a smart move. But what she didn't realize, and what I didn't even realize, was that this trench, it was deep. It was at least 6 feet down from the road that we were up on, at least, because when we went down, and I lost sight. I blacked out. We just dropped, and I don't remember the next thing that happened. I don't remember rolling in there. I don't remember feeling any initial pain. I blacked out. I had no idea what happened. Like, I just closed my eyes, and then, it was probably only a few minutes later, or a few seconds later, it probably all happened that quickly, but I just opened my eyes really slowly, realized my head, it was kind of smashed into the ground against the back of the four-wheeler, and my helmet was the thing that was keeping the entire pressure of the four-wheeler off me into the ground. And on the ground, I was in a couple inches of water. Like, I could breathe, but my face was soaked in, and if that had pressed me in any harder, I'd have been drowning in a few inches of water, on top of not being able to get this giant ATV off of me. I was trapped under it, basically. And I was so scared. I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't find my voice. I couldn't talk. And then I found my voice, and I just screamed. I was like, "Get it off me! I can't see! I can't see!" This whole time, I couldn't see anything. Like, I knew I was in water. I knew it wasn't a lot of water. I felt what was on me, but I couldn't see. And I don't know if my eyes were shut or if they were open, but I couldn't see at all. And I was just yelling for the person, that was with. I was just yelling for them, "Help me, get this off me." I didn't know what shape they were in. I had no idea. But we were the only two people. The only thing I could think of was to beg them for help. And of course they would help me. I mean, that's not the issue. It was just instinct. Help me, get this off me. I can't see. I can't breathe. Like I'm scared. And all of a sudden I just felt it come off me. And I couldn't move still, but I felt it come off me. And I could see, and she was just standing above me. "Are you okay? Are you alright?" I'm like, I couldn't even talk. Like, I just screamed for her, but I couldn't even find my voice. It took everything in me to scream for her to help me. And I couldn't talk, and so I just kept trying to point. I was pointing at my head and my chest and the side of my leg, and my wrist, and I was trying to communicate without speaking because I couldn't find my voice. I was trying to communicate what hurt, because she was asking, are you okay, what's wrong, and I was trying to point, and she just, I don't know if she wasn't understanding or if she was just too, like, caught up in the moment, she didn't know what was going on, but I just couldn't talk. I was, like, laying there, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Am I dying? Do I need to go to the hospital? How bad is this? Am I bleeding? I couldn't move still, and I slowly just felt like the feeling returned back to my body. I felt a tremendous amount of pain. I slowly sat up, and I just looked at the damage, and I was bleeding nowhere, and I was already immediately like, thank God. And then my next thought was to see if I broke anything, and I was, wiggling my wrist, trying to figure out, and it hurt really bad. It was very tender, but I could move it, and I knew it wasn't broken. And the same way, I was just feeling my legs, because I had already a massive bruise forming on my thigh, on the outer part of my leg, and my head hurt pretty bad, obviously. And the helmet I had too, it wasn't a very sturdy hat even. It was pretty flimsy, but still, just a stupid little cheap helmet saved my life. Because without it, I looked at what I was in, and it was water there, and if I had been trapped anymore, I would have been drowning. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if she just had such an adrenaline rush that she was able to push this entire ATV off of me, but she did, and I was like, thank you. Like, I couldn't even find the words, but in that moment, I was like, that's the greatest thing you've probably ever done for me, thank you. And like, I began trying to walk up out of this trench, and I felt it immediately. It was just awful. And we didn't want to get in trouble. Like, we were like, we didn't break the four-wheeler, it's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with it, so we'll just get it out of the ditch. And we got it out of the ditch, and I'm just like, the only thing now is I don't need to know if I need to go to the hospital or not, because I'm still in a tremendous amount of pain. I'm not a big baby, but I did experience a very traumatic fall. I possibly had a concussion. Possibly my wrist was sprained. I had no idea, but we decided not to go because we're stupid, but that's okay. I'm fine now. I never even went. The hardest thing was when I got home and I had to tell my mom. I wasn't going to tell her, but, it was pretty obvious. Like, my leg had a big bruise on it, my wrist was sore, and I'm not just going to, like, lie. I'm like, oh, I don't want to tell her. She won't want me to ever do it again or whatever. But I told her, and she was like, what? Like, I'm sorry, Mom. Like, at least I'm alive. Like, don't ban me from ATVing. It's a hobby. I like, it's fun. Don't make me not. And she didn't. But she was really mad, and I was like confused as to why she was so upset. Like, it'd be like one thing if she was like, oh my God, are you okay? Oh, you should be more careful. But she was mad. I was like, why are you mad? I lived, Mama. Like, I lived. Like, don't be sad. Don't be mad. Get glad. So, that is the time that I got into an ATV accident. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below.